These are some search tips for searching for your 6 articles in the TSU library database. Your ability to find the right literature, understand it, and write up a review accounts for 20% of your final grade for this course. This is significant and means that you need to follow all the instructions for assignment completion. Read the instructions on the syllabus, pages 12 to 14. Review the grading rubric I will use to grade this assignment in the rubrics folder in Blackboard, and make sure you give yourself plenty of time to find the right articles and write your paper. This is not an assignment you can do the night before it is due. You can only use a certain type of article for your articles that you review in your paper. These articles must be original research studies, either exploratory, descriptive, or explanatory designs, published in peer-reviewed journals, and they must be quantitative studies. Only one of your 6 required studies, maximum, can be qualitative. You will use the TSU Library database to find your articles. There is a helpful handout I created in the APA Formatting tab on Blackboard that helps you learn how to search for peer-reviewed journal articles in multiple databases at once. Review that handout. It will help to save you time in your search. How do you know if the articles you choose meet the criteria of being an original study in a peer-reviewed journal article? In a peer-reviewed journal. Let's discuss this beginning on the next slide. These are some search tips for searching your 6 articles in the TSU library database. Use the TSU electronic database to search for your topic of interest. Follow these tips to search in the library database. First, go to the TSU website and go to Quick Links and drop down to Library. That will take you to this page. You're going to click on Electronic Databases A to Z, and you can either click on Academic Search Complete, or you can scroll down to Social Work Abstracts. Either one is fine. Both of these databases contain the same information and the same resources. So you'll click on either Social Work Abstracts or Academic Search Complete. Once you do that, it will ask you to log in to the system. You must provide your last name and T number. Once that is done, it will take you to this page. And as you can see, I clicked on Social Work Abstracts. Some students make the mistake of just starting their search here without setting any options or limiters or expanding their search to advanced search. So what you first want to do here is go to Choose Databases. This will allow you to search more than one database at the same time, which will save you time. So what you want to do is click on, make sure Academic Search Complete is on. Make sure you click on Eric. And then over in the second column, you're going to make sure to click Professional Development Collection, Psych Articles, Psych Critiques, Psychological and Behavioral Sciences Collection. And if you clicked on Social Work Abstracts, that should already be checked. Now these are the databases you should check no matter what your topic of interest is. However, you may want to place a check mark on additional databases. For example, if you are interested in the topic of attention deficit hyperactive disorder, you may want to go into Education Research Complete as well as check Medline. If you're interested in Alzheimer's in older adults, you may also want to check Medline. So you can find additional databases to check, but in general, every student should have these few that I checked checkmarked. That will expand your search in social work and psychology related topics. Then click OK. Now, what you want to do before you start searching is click Advanced Search. That way you can search 3 combinations of words or phrases at a time, as opposed to just one box to fill information in on. So let's show an example of a mistake that students make sometimes. Let's say a student just decides they're interested in child abuse. Okay. Then they click search. This is a problem because this topic is way too broad. When you're searching a topic, even for the purposes of this class, try to narrow down your search to something specific within child abuse. As you can see, simply typing in child abuse, we have over 57,000 articles that came up. That's too many to read through, and so what I'm going to teach you how to do is narrow your search, learn some techniques to search, and limit your search so that you are viewing articles you can access directly online. You don't have to go into the library for them. They're current, and they are original. They're published in peer-reviewed journals. So let's limit our term under child abuse. Let's add a second search term to narrow it down. So maybe we can type in Native, we'll do Native American. Okay, so you see, making it very specific, whether it's a specific ethnic group, a specific issue within child abuse, that has narrowed down our search terms, search results significantly, and that makes it more manageable for you to review. So let's say we're interested in child abuse in Native American families. Typically, you can let these terms default into select a field, but if you want to get more specific, you can search child abuse as a title of a journal article. You can also search in terms of subject terms, but if you leave it as select a field, that gives you the broadest option and will give you the most hits when you hit return. So let's say this was our topic of interest for this class. And we really want to save time and weed out all things that are not published in peer-reviewed journals. And we want to also find articles from home through our computer. We don't want to have to go into the library. So we can click under Limit to Full Text. And we can also limit to scholarly peer-reviewed journals. So that narrowed down our hits from 57,000 to 91. And then you also want to be careful that you're not pulling articles that are really, really old because that information is outdated. Typically, we say any articles that are no more than 10 to 15 years old are considered current to some extent. So since it's 2016, let's search for any articles that have been published in the last 15 years on child abuse in Native Americans. Now we have 65 hits. So by doing this, you save yourself some time so that you don't have to try to figure out, is this published in a peer-reviewed journal or not? you have already told the computer you only want things published in peer-reviewed journals. You don't want newspaper, magazine articles, etc. And journals that are not peer-reviewed, because there are some journals that you just have to pay a fee and they'll publish you. And those are not considered very credible. So here what we're looking at, if I was doing my lit review, all of these articles will have full PDF text. So I can just click on it. Let's just go ahead and click on the first one and see what's in there. Okay, so we met the first criteria. We need something published in a peer-reviewed journal. So now we have to find out if this is an article of interest to you and if this is an original research study. So usually there'll be an abstract at the beginning. You can read through that abstract and that will give you a good indication before you have to read the article if it's an article that you can use or not. Then what else we're looking for is a methods section. And you can simply scroll through the article and look to see if there's a method section. I'm not seeing one here. So this is probably an issues type article, just talking about issues and child abuse among Native American families. So this is not an article I could use for the paper for this class. So let's go back to results list. And let's click on this next one to see. Okay, so again, we're looking for a method section. Now, most articles do have a literature review as part of their setup for rationale for their research. So this is this author's literature review. This is not a method section. Oh, here we go, methods. So this now tells me that this is more than likely 99% sure an original research study. So now after we find the methods heading, we're going to look for keywords. This study used data collected. Data were analyzed. Measures. Dependent variables. Independent variables. This should all be an indication of quantitative original research study. Data analysis, chi-square, interpreting statistically significant results, use of an alpha level of 0.10. Okay, so I could tell you just by looking at these clues, this is an original research study that is quantitative, that is published in a peer-reviewed journal. This would be an article that would qualify to be used for your paper. Okay. So there are all kinds of articles published in peer-reviewed journals. Not all of them are original research studies. Some publications are issue-type articles, some are policy-type articles. So how do you know if an article is an original research study? You will know because you will see a lot of the terms you see on the slide here. Remember, your articles, with the exception of one maximum, must be quantitative studies. All original research studies in peer-reviewed journals have a methods section. The methods section is the section that tells the reader the specifics of the methodology used to carry out the study, sampling procedures, measures, variables of interest, statistical tests, participants, research design, etc. If the study you find does not have a methods section, it is probably an article that you cannot use for this assignment. Stay away from any law journals. They contain almost no original research studies. If you are not sure, you can email me the article in question and I will tell you if it's an original research study. This is an example from one of your required readings of what a method section might look like. The methods section will typically have the word methods in bold, either centered or justified left. Then the information about methodology will be located right below the heading. Remember, the researcher's methodology is the section in which the researchers explain in detail the steps that he, she, or they took to carry out the study and provide enough detail that the study can be replicated by somebody else. How do you know if it is a quantitative study and not a qualitative one? This is an example of a quantitative original research study. You know it's quantitative because of the key words: significantly higher, T equals, R equals, P values, N, mean, standard deviation, and you see descriptive and inferential statistics, etc. Qualitative studies are different than quantitative studies. Qualitative studies will also have a method section. However, what is in the method section of a qualitative study is most often going to display keywords like these on this slide. Qualitative methods generally don't use statistical tests or compute descriptive statistics other than a numerical breakdown of the characteristics of the sample population. This is an example from one of your assigned readings, which you'll read later in the course, of a qualitative original research study. You see this includes a small number of participants, which is characteristic of qualitative studies, and you see methods that include in-depth interviews and thematic analysis. These are key indicators of a qualitative study. This is a continued sample of the qualitative original research study presented on the previous slide. You can see here that during the in-depth interviews with participants, the participants answered open-ended questions, and those responses were analyzed through thematic analysis, and the grounded theory method was used to develop a theory from the themes that emerged from participants' responses. The best way to write is to start in advance and organize the information in your peer-reviewed original research study articles. Decide on a research topic of interest, have a variable or two in mind, and find your articles a few weeks before the paper is due. The best way to organize your information from each study is to create a synthesis matrix. This is an example of a synthesis matrix, which helps you organize information from your 6 articles. This particular matrix is brief, so it can all fit on the screen for you to view. So feel free to add information on the first row that will help you write about key information from the articles you find to include in your paper. You can create this using the Tables tool in Microsoft Word document. As you read through each article, write down important information that is required by the sections of your paper in each article. Do this well in advance of the due date. Then the information you complete in the matrix will help you organize information across the 6 articles, which then will help you write and organize your lit review paper. Give yourself plenty of time to write. Do not wait until the week before to begin this process. Having doubts about writing or how to organize your information? Please make an appointment to visit with me in my office so I can give you some extra guidance. This concludes the lecture on literature reviews. Please email or stop by my office with any questions.